Hi friends, I'm Melissa and this is my channel, Melissa in Real Life. I started making social media posts called Melissa in Real Life about 3 years ago after I read an article saying you should never compare yourself to what you see on social media because most people only like to post what's perfect about their life and leave out the messy details or the not so proud moments. I decided I wanted to be real on social media. I wanted people to see the good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between. So, Melissa in Real Life happened. But then, a couple weeks ago, I had a friend, and he was like, they're way too long. I don't read all that. And I felt like I already shortened them a lot so I could fit them in a small little social media post. But I'm much more hilarious in real life anyway, so why not videos? And here we are with the Melissa in Real Life channel. Anyways, so I'm 40 years old. I have 5 children. I have a son who is 23, a daughter who's about to turn 22, twin boys who are 18, and a 16-year-old son. I have the best bulldog ever in the whole entire world. Her name is Liberty Hope, and she is very stubborn. She's a diva. She has her own Facebook page, so, if you want to see cute pictures, Liberty Hope, Facebook, you can look. Anyway, and I have the best job in the whole entire world. The fancy way of saying it is, I provide in-home care for adults with intellectual delays and developmental disabilities. But what I like to say is I go to my friend's house and I hang out and I get paid for it because that is what I do. And the story behind that is I accidentally became a part business owner when the company I was working for, they decided they didn't want to provide services anymore in my county. So me and a few other people got together and were like, hey, let's open our own agency. I never planned on owning a business of my own. That's not something I planned on doing, but I'm pretty impulsive. So here we are. I'm so glad my life worked out this way. I've been with my friends for 12 years now, and it's great. I don't know why everybody doesn't do this job. It's the best job in the whole entire world. Anyway, so you'll hear me talk a lot about my dog, my job, my kids, and also I have bipolar, generalized anxiety disorder, and also a touch of OCD. I don't know how you get a touch of OCD, but my doctor said a touch of OCD, so here we are. Whatever. Just welcome to my life, literally. So I thought that the best way to get to know me would be to tell you my favorite accidental adventure story. So I'm impulsive. I am very impulsive. And like I said, I have bipolar, so sometimes I get manic, and when I get manic, I really am impulsive. Like, I don't put thought into much of anything that I do. And one day, on a Thursday, I was sitting at work, and for some reason, I don't know, I don't have any idea what triggered the thought. Maybe it was a commercial or something. But I'm just sitting at work, and all of a sudden I decide I want to go to Niagara Falls. Okay, I live in Ohio. Niagara Falls, kind of a drive. Like, it's not real close. And I drove a 1995 Chevy Astro. Her name was Big Red. She was like, it's so great. Like, plenty of room for everyone. Everything great. Except for sometimes she was stubborn. Sometimes she was just like, not going anymore. We're not doing this today, Melissa. I don't know what to tell you. Nope, not happening. And I mean, she was an old lady, so like, what do you do? If your car says it's not going to go, you're not going. But anyway, that wasn't the case when we set out. But I didn't want to go by myself, just like me and my kids. I didn't want to do that. So I called my friend Christina and I'm like, hey, you want to go to Niagara Falls? And I'm sure that when she answered yes, that she was not thinking I meant the next day, but I did in fact mean the next day. And she was like, well, we should probably plan it at least a little, like at least let's spend tomorrow planning it out and then we can go on Saturday. And I'm like, fine, Killjoy, whatever, go on Saturday. But this girl's a planner, so like she had planned out we were gonna go stay at this campground. We're campers, so we're gonna pack the tent. We're gonna go stay at this campground. Everything's gonna be perfectly planned out. Famous last words, eh? But anyway, so Saturday morning we set out with three of my children and her two children in Big Red, tent packed. We're gonna go. We plan on stopping in New York and getting groceries, and like everything's fine. I should also add we had $500 for this trip. That's yep, $500. So we get to Buffalo, New York, and we decide we're gonna go grocery shopping there. My car started acting funny, like it was trying to overheat, and so we're like, oh, this is not good. So, I mean, probably responsible people when they were going to go on a long car trip like that, they do things like they can oil change and they make sure their fluids are filled up, and they make sure that things are good to go before driving all those hours, but I don't do that. And so we were just like, okay, we'll buy some jugs of water when we're in the store, like no big deal, whatever. But let me tell you, Ohio prices compared to New York prices, there's a big difference. Like, we don't pay for plastic bottles. Like, it's not something that we do. And jugs of water here are like 79 cents, I think, now. And this was a few years ago. So, like, I don't know, but it's expensive. We weren't expecting it to be that expensive. But we got our jugs of water, we got our groceries, whatever, we're good to go. And we go and we put the water into the radiator because that's what you do. And we made it to Niagara Falls, New York, and the car's just like, nope. Big Red, she was done. She was like, no, I'm not doing this. So I'm just gonna sit right here. And she did. Thankfully we got pulled into a parking lot, some little business thing, but yeah, she just said she was gonna sit down, and she sure did. So the only thing that we could actually do was call our parents, of course. And so AAA came and they're like, yeah, we don't just like have an alternator for this just sitting around. And that's what the problem is. You need a new alternator. I'm like, okay, whatever, fine. So then we also called parents and we're like, okay, we need money to fix this. I don't have enough money to fix this. They were so awesome. They sent us money, and the guy said it's going to be the next day, and so he would drive us in the tow truck to a little hotel, which another expense we did not plan on having because we were going to stay in this super cheap campsite with our tent. But anyway, so like we're trying to make the most of it, we're just like, okay, cool, we're just going with it. And like, okay, maybe I cried for a while, but whatever. Like, it was fine. Everything was gonna be fine. And so we stayed in the hotel, and like that was super fun. We get up the next morning and we're like, we have no idea where the falls are at. Like, we don't even really know where we are at. And so we're just like walking around, and finally this person, we ask them like, where are the falls? And literally like 2 blocks from our hotel. So we're basically at the falls. We could have seen the falls at night, would have been cool. But no, we didn't realize we were that close. So anyways, we go and see the falls. We take the little boat ride. We do everything, every touristy thing to do in Niagara Falls. We did all of that. Well, not the helicopter ride, because that was way too much. And still more expenses that we really didn't have the money for, but it was whatever. and we had a great time, but we didn't get to go camping, and they called us and said the car was done. So we're like, let's stay another night. Only logical thing to do in this situation, right? So we go to the campground and like we make a fire and we cook. And then this girl, she does this like voodoo cooking stuff. She took a can of soda, box of cake mix, put it in a metal pan, put that bad boy with aluminum foil over top of the pan, put it in the campfire, and we ate cake. You don't have to believe me if you don't want to, but I know I ate that cake, so it's a real thing that can happen. I don't know. I don't know how she does the things she does, but she does. Anyway, so it ended up being so much fun. Like, it was a great time. And then we get into Ohio, but we're still, like, we're in central Ohio is where we live. And so we're, like, still 2 hours away or so from home. And, you know, Big Red, she gets, like, 14 miles per gallon. And we were on E, 2 hours away from home. And everybody else was asleep. I don't want to wake them up and panic them, but guess what else was on E? My wallet. My wallet was on double E, actually. And so I prayed all the way home. We were literally living on a prayer, and we made it home. I don't know, but it ended up being the most fun accidental adventure ever in my life. Not my only accidental adventure, but that's a video for another day. So, if you think you would like to hear more about my crazy life, then subscribe, hit the bell for the notifications, and hit all so you can not miss a video. Tell your friends, like, share, let your family know, your enemies know, everybody just needs to follow my crazy life. Thank you.